What's up? It's James Adair. It's another episode of the Equity Accelerator podcast, and joined as always by my friend and cohort, Chris Angel.
The cohorts.
And this is a podcast where we talk about building equity in your life through improved mortgage decision-making, building equity in your real estate business through strategic scripting and conversations and ideas. That's what I want this to be about and who it's for. And today, I want to pick up a conversation. We were chatting and we had to stop it so we could hit record and grab the magic.
Grab it.
Today, I want to talk about the idea that if the market is shifting. It's 2019.
Yep.
I'm in the Portland, Oregon marketplace. The energy, I think, has definitely changed, not to get too woo-woo, but I think, and it's hard to tell if it's seasonal because, we're still in the kind of winter season. The spring is starting to come around, though. We're about to change the clocks, and that's really going to move people's hearts and minds into the spring real estate mode. So that will always happen. So I don't know if, it's possible that I think our slowdown has just been a little bit deeper and slower than we've seen in years. And it just, people don't really know what to make of it. And it's possible that by the time April comes around, it's multiple offers again. And everyone's just like, oh, never mind. Everything's insane again. So back to insanity. That could absolutely happen. But there is a lot of talk about the market shifting. My sense, and we've talked about this before, my sense is that a lot of that shift has to do with client behavior and client mentality. Just the influence of our smartphones, the influence of Amazon and Uber, and the idea that you can press a button and just make something happen, and having technology alter the need and purpose of relationships. That's the big shift that I'm trying to manage. And, one thing that I'm seeing is, particularly speaking of technology, is that in the mortgage space, this is my 16th year in the business. So I started in the early 2000s. It was really, my career tracks along with the advent of the internet in the way we know it now. There was websites and emails and stuff in 2003, but it wasn't like this connected world. It was still beepers and flip phones, in a very real sense.
Beepers.
I know.
It's beepers.
I had a beeper in the 90s. But the idea is, throughout most of my career, there was such a wide spectrum of client experience, depending on which lender you ended up working with. There's such a wide spectrum of what the lender could do to influence your financial outcome for better or worse. That I think, a unique value proposition that I had for many years was just being, having integrity and like being mindful of the client's experience, being mindful of taking care of the details, right? And then just communicating. And that was often enough to blow someone away, that I would get a ton of referrals and tons of realtor loyalty. And I think now that a lot of this is taking place on people's smartphones, a lot of the income and asset verification, credit verification is all just push button. A lot of the transaction pain is being smoothed out. And, which brings the question, if that's true, what problem do I solve for my clients? What problem am I solving for my realtor partners? If the realtor has a client that shows up and they're like, oh yeah, I'm pre-approved with the big bank and like, here's my app.
What do I need you for? In other words, what do I need you for?
Yeah. Whereas in years past, in a super competitive market, a realtor would say, look, I know you've got the big bank, but they're not closing very fast. This offer might not even get accepted. There's a lot of like really clear reasons to say, hey, we should bring James in, or you should talk to somebody else that I trust that, to get this done. Like now, I don't know if that's as meaningful as it once was. And so I'm refocusing my whole practice around figuring out what's the real problem that I can solve that these other services either won't solve or can't solve.
Which, by the way, I don't think that's any, I think it's the same issue for real estate agents and their spheres of influence. Like the question you're answering right now is the same one that agents need to be answering for themselves, because this is the issue.
I mean, it's not just agents. I mean, it is everything.
Taxi drivers.
God, I mean, the movie business, the television business. I mean, we're sitting here doing a podcast. We're making radio out of just magic and a microphone, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's everybody has to rethink how they connect, right? I mean, politics is being totally rethought in a very real way. I mean, it's all connected, but I think it's important to step back and ask yourself, like, well, what problem am I solving here?
Right.
And so we have come up with a couple of ideas, actually. And you know, for my partners, I'm trying to become an irreplaceable point of leverage for their business. That's kind of that's what I've landed on. Like, how do I help my partners?
Planner partners, right?
Yeah. How do I help my business partners, my referral partners?
There you go. Yeah.
Create leverage in their business by saying, well, you got to talk to James, because when you do, this is going to happen for my business, right? I don't want it to be, well, you got to talk to James because I like James and I want, you know, he's my friend and like, I want to hook up my friend. I want it to be, you got to talk to James because when you talk to James, you're going to have a different understanding of how mortgages work. You're going to have a different understanding of what's available. You're going to have a different understanding of how this decision can actually influence your life and create tens of thousands of dollars of difference over a pretty short period of time, where, you know, an app that you download is just going to tell you, do you qualify or not? Right.
Yeah. Use the word. Is it time to use the word? Can you use the word that you told me? Can we reveal the word yet? The P word.
Of course. Yes.
Use the P word.
I forgot what the word is. I want you to tell me what the word is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it was your word, but I think like what you said, which is so great, and you're pointing to it right now, which is why I want to say it, is process. What you're offering is process. When your referral partners are sending people to you, they're sending people to you because you have done the due diligence of creating the process that actually does the education, does the handholding, does all this stuff. And sometimes apps, I'm going to say sometimes, apps don't do that. Technology doesn't do that, right?
It does some of the process, but there are certain parts of the process that an app simply won't do and doesn't want to do.
And that's the hole that you're filling in the market.
That's the hole I'm filling. Exactly. And so I got and another thing is it's not just the transaction anymore. So we're calling it, active equity management, right?
Right.
So this is an ongoing conversation about having a financial resource who knows about you, knows your life, and is tracking the changes in your income, changes in your employment.
Right. Totally.
There is no service really for what if you get a bonus at work and you don't know what to do with it. Oh, I got $20,000. Should I pay my mortgage off? Should I invest it? Should I pay off this other debt? What should I do? Oh, I inherited some money.
Yeah.
You know, I want to set my clients up to know that I'm going to call them every year, and it's not about a refinance. It's about, we made a big transaction decision, but now every month we're making debt repayment decisions, and I want to be a partner with you and making sure you repay that in such a way that it's integrated with your financial vision. And there's no right way or wrong way to do it, but I can kind of help them think about it clearly. Right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love that. So that's your referral partner. And then you've got where like they want to keep working with you because you're providing value, not just to them, but to their people.
Right. So they're connected. I mean, the idea that I have this little bit of a different offering that actually that I can monetize and show them the dollar bottom line value of this kind of conversation over time and how it's different than just a transaction. If my referral partner, I now it's on me to train my referral partners to explain that to their clients. If they're bringing me in, they say, hey, I know you showed up with this app on your phone and you already kind of started the process, but also I want you to talk to James so we can execute to make sure that you have a different experience, because that realtor is also now trying to create a different experience. I'm trying to, I mean, if you're at a listing presentation and you're competing with other agents, you're competing with, tech companies that'll do it for 3.5%, not or whatever, you have to validate, hey, I'm going to get you top dollar. It's not just service. This is about money, right? People are making those decisions because they feel like, well, the realtor just puts it online and then just like cashes a $25,000 check. And like, I'm not having that anymore. So if we can train, if we can bring the active equity management, the mortgage conversation into the listing conversation and say, hey, this is a part of the services that we're going to do a financial analysis of all your debts. Once we get you top dollar, we're going to free up this amount of cash. We're going to move it into the next leg of the purchase. And that is really where a whole other moment of, danger is not the right word, but there's a moment of it's an inflection point in your financial life that can have a big outcome, a big difference in outcome if you're not thoughtful about it.
Yeah. I mean, that alone, like if I think about that as an agent and I'm on a listing appointment and I get to say that all the stuff that James is going to do is part of what I am offering as your listing agent.
You don't even have to say my name. You can just say, you just say, hey, part of the package is this, we're going to do staging. We're going to do this drone photograph or whatever that, we're going to put on our website. We're going to syndicate all these things that they always do.
Whatever the agent is going to do.
Yep. The agent's going to do. And then they say, and we're going to have an equity action plan. We're going to create a financial analysis of all your debts and to make sure that once we get you top dollar, that when we free up all this equity that we're integrating into your financial plan. Who's your financial advisor? Right. And they'll most of the time say, oh, I don't really have one.
Right. Yep.
And say, well, when you work with us, we're going to make sure you're surrounded by financial professionals and we're going to make sure you have a plan. Right.
That's so powerful. I think one of the things, the lessons in this that I'm hearing is like in order to get beyond, how do I say it? In order to not be replaced by technology, you've got to start to get beyond the transaction. You've got to expand how you serve people beyond that moment in time, which is the apps. All the technology is focused on the point of sale. But if you can expand the utility of what you do for people in their lives, that's how you actually stay relevant.
You know what else is really cool that I'm super excited about? We're developing as a team here in my branch, we're developing the idea of, and this is not a totally new idea, but I think the way we're doing it, the way we're executing is new. And it's like adopting a mortgage, right? And so for you have a mortgage. I could adopt your mortgage, right? Even though I didn't write the loan that you've got, I could, if no one has, it's like the Buffini thing. If, someone bought a house, but no one's talked, the realtor hasn't called them in 5 years.
Right.
And if you say, hey, if I'd love to have you as a client, if I can send you something every month, would you, if you don't have someone you would refer for realtor, I'd like to be the person you refer. And so what you do is, or what the mortgage adoption process is, now I have something to offer anybody, right? I can just do an equity analysis, take a snapshot of their debts. Just be a partner with them on their repayment. Even though I didn't write the loan that they've got, if they don't have a relationship with their lender, which they probably don't. Because the nature of the business is very transactional. Maybe they used an app to begin with. They just, whoever they worked with is out of the business, whatever. If they don't have that relationship, I can adopt that mortgage, put them in my system, track along with them, and just provide this kind of value for them with the understanding that when someone does need a mortgage, that I'm there to help them out.
I'm not sure that you're saying this, so I'll just clarify. You could totally say this isn't what you're saying, but if I were an agent, I could do this. And like, if I'm working with you, if I'm a referral partner for you, I can go do an orphan buyer campaign and say, hey, I know, you live in this neighborhood. I work this neighborhood. We didn't work together when you bought the house, but who did you use for your loan? We don't remember. Well, listen, we have this program called, active equity management.
Right.
And now I, as an agent, can actually piggyback on what you're creating for value. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for partners to help.
So awesome.
Pick this up and run with it. Because it'll come with, I haven't created this yet, but as soon as I adopt a mortgage, they get a letter, they go into my system. So we're on a schedule where I'm, checking in with them at least once a year, if not twice a year. They're invited to all of our client events. They would be I want to make like a diploma that they get mailed. Like you've been officially adopted. Your mortgage.
Nice.
I like it. Or something like that, like a certificate to send to them that they can put in a frame. That would be kind of fun.
I love this because I think a lot of times for agents specifically, sometimes it's like, what do I say to people? Like, oh, I want to farm a neighborhood, or I want to reach out to people, but they didn't use me last time for their, people in my family and my sphere, my friends. Like I wasn't an agent at the time they bought. So what do I say to these people? And then we just don't call or talk to them. But to have something like this that is total value and isn't attached to you buying or selling a house with me right now. It's just, let's monitor your equity as time goes on.
Right.
Totally gives me a reason to talk to you.
Exactly.
Mic drop.
Boom. I don't know what else to say.
Drop the mic. Let's not say anything else, James. Let's just let the weight of that set on everybody listening. So good. It is so good. And I want to, seriously, let's wrap there, because I feel like what there is to do next on the end of that, on the heels of that, is for people to reach out to you. If you're a real estate agent or a financial planner, somebody that wants to be a referral partner for James, you should reach out to James and connect with him so that you guys can talk about how this.
That's right. In 2006, I had the good fortune of registering the URL pdxhomeloan.com.
That's awesome.
And that's how you can find me. Go to pdxhomeloan.com. All my contact information is there. You can just write james@pdxhomeloan.com and email me. Or my phone number is there as well. Pick up the phone, call me, email me, text me, whatever.
I love it. I love that you're doing this business, James, from a place of contribution, giving value to not just agents, financial planners, but also to the people in the community. And I think that's the recipe for what people want moving forward. I think we're tired of interruption marketing, and what we want now is stuff that actually
it's stressful,
right? Yeah, for sure. Well, that's it, guys. So go to pdxhomeloan.com, connect with James there. James, great episode today, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, man.